today on the program. It's kind of a kitchen sink beer. I had one more iteration of the washed yeast from Capri strain, and I just needed a quick turnaround beer. So I was thinking, well, it's end of summer, I've got some miscellaneous hops, I got some Pils malt, so I went and got 5 pounds of wheat, and I had 5 pounds of North Star Pils. Let me turn this down, yada blah blah blah. And so I also have a little bit left of a Pato hop for that I'll bitter with. And I have this Jarrylo, which is something I've never used, but I have it. And so, oh, the other thing I guess I do have on here, 2 ounces or 56 grams of Perla Negra, which is a dehusked blackish malt. So now look, that is the color you get from all of that light colored base malt in just 2 ounces. So honestly, I didn't even know it would be that dark. I thought it would just be a little bit lighter than that, but that's what it is. 2 ounces, people. So yeah, we're collecting the wort right now. First runnings coming in. We'll do the second running. I'll put it on this cardboard. I'll cover it with a bunch of blankets, and I'll boil it in the morning. Yeah, just not trying to reinvent the wheel, but just need a quick turnaround, serviceable drinking beer. And the Jarrylo hop does sound kind of interesting. We can talk more about that later, and we will see what happens. If you've seen my brewing videos, you've seen this mash tun that I think I made in 2005. And just recently, I am on my 3rd of these stainless steel supply tubes. The previous one had become smashed and then stretched out, and it actually was like stretched out and winding around in here, and I was just sort of realizing I wasn't getting good runoff, and then I was even wondering about the efficiency, and then I saw this thing and it just sort of all clicked one day, like, this thing has got to be replaced. So yeah, this is the 3rd one in 17 years. So the first 2 lasted 17 years, so they last like 8 years each time, give or take. Anyway, now today I'm doing did I bring them up? Wheat. So I also have, I don't know how much is in here. What does this thing even say? 1 pound, and this thing is probably not full. So, but I think this thing runs off pretty good. So with this amount of rice hulls and with it being 50% barley, I'm hoping it will be okay. Alright, it's been an hour, so I'm going to open this up, add the mash out water, and stir in the rice hulls. There's been many times when I've just done the mash with the rice hulls in there the whole time. Sometimes I add them at this time. I don't know if it makes a difference, but we're gonna keep this rolling. One thing that's been interesting this year is I really didn't know that I had gotten so many yellow tomato plants. I mean, look at these things. They just look wonderful, don't they? And they taste pretty yummy too. So yeah, these plants are doing well over here. There's some aromas in there. There they are. And I have had some sunflowers make it, so that's been fun. More yellow tomatoes over there. I've had a handful of decent green peppers, kale, yada blah blah blah. The beans are not coming in like they did last year. So if you just take a glance, you can see some nice beans, but I don't have the volume that I would like. So that is what it is. Some more tomatoes, including these orange little things that are fun just to eat. Now, this is one of my favorite little back corners. That chair, well, so this leaf right here, if you focus on it, this is like above my head, about at my head level. So you can still see it's still another 4 feet or so. So that thing has got to be 10 feet. This is kind of what it looks like, kind of not what it looks like. It's a hemp plant, basically, ditchweed, that I found some seeds in the park of a plant that was growing, and I just thought, wouldn't that be fun to plant some of those? And now that thing is like 8 or 10 feet tall. So this is just my little back corner of giant. I mean, I can go underneath this thing and look up at it. I want to do a tasting notes in front of these plants, so that video might already actually be out. Otherwise, the boil is going. It's been going for half hour or so. I put the 1/4 ounce of Pato in there for a little bit of bittering, and then I will do the ounce of Jarrylo, and hopefully that will give it enough bitterness. It's maybe not even going to be up to 1050, so it should be okay. Okay, it has been an hour. Let's turn this off. And, ooh, geez, don't dump those out, you dum-dum. Okay, so here are these. Never used these, don't know much about them. We can get into that when if this beer turns out and we do a tasting. We can, we'll get into that, what they're supposed to give you as far as aroma and flavor. I did read they are supposed to be a dual purpose hop, so they are also supposed to be for aroma as well. I'm going to give them about 15 minutes and then we'll do the chill. I got it chilled down to about 70. The room I'm going to put it in is about 74. So I'm going to do my ice jug trick. Try to keep it at or below 70. 5 gallons. It's going to be 1046 to 1048 to 1049. I'll get an exact reading. Now I also have my last iteration of the washed yeast from the Capri strain, which again is, don't tell me, juice and a Loki, so a Kveik strain, sort of married together in a scientific back closet. Yeah, that's the technical term. So anyway, here we go. Now I am not extra aerating. I do pour it through a strainer through this funnel, so it gets, you know, well splashed and bubbled that way. Also, it's not a big gravity, and lastly, there were lots of yeast in that thing. So basically, it's gonna get buttoned up, covered up, get some ice jugs under some t-shirts, back into the corner closet, hopefully be ripping by tonight. I just came down for a quick check. It's about 9 hours after pitching the yeast. As you can see, we have a nice Kreuzen. It was about 68, 70. So that's good. I just swapped out the ice jugs, and I'll just do that twice a day until it gets done. Yeah. So here is this beer. It's been in the keg about 3 weeks. It went from 1046 to 1.007. I kegged it after about 8 days. I don't have the notes on like the temperature, but I may have done a video on that. I know I was keeping this one cooler-ish, or trying to keep it like 70 or actually. Shoot, now I am forgetting because this yeast strain can go warmer. Mm-hmm. Maybe I think it'll be in the videos. I'll have commented.
The sweet spot that Dr. Matt suggested though was 68, even though it does have a Kveik in its heritage or its parentage. Because I remember asking, was like, should we push this? He's like, 68 still actually where this is pretty happy.
I think this one got up into the mid-70s. It should be in the video clips before this. I forgot to review those notes. I did have the notes on the Jarrylo hop, what you're supposed to get from that. I think I would have had to use more of it to get more of the character of the hop, because I don't get a lot of hop character in this beer just from doing 1 ounce of a hop stand. The other thing that's interesting is just how dark you just saw it got with just the 2 ounces of the Perla Negra. So, you know, just 2 ounces, and otherwise it would have been just light and pale because of the wheat and the pills.
Yeah, it's definitely a dark orange to light amber. Those dark malts, like, they do their work really fast.
All the stuff that you're supposed to get out of this hop, grassy, citrusy, spicy, fruity. This got real clever, so I made some notes. Wet forest, vanilla, oranges, herbs. This one is nice. Dried hibiscus peel, melon, pear. So all over the place. Almost like it's one of those hops like Mosaic or something where you get like a wide variety of
vanilla is
things.
A very interesting note for a hop, but I believe it.
Yeah, I don't get a lot of hop character. Maybe I get a general oranginess, which is maybe even from the yeast a little bit. He agrees. So, you know, can you just throw together half wheat, half pills, a little bit of dark grain, and a random couple of hops?
You sure can.
And some leftover washed yeast, and make a beer? Well, by gum, you sure can.
That's a very Dono method.
Kind of,
this beer specifically.
You know, you're right, because it's
low-fi, no-buy, baby.
If you can make when low risk, so it's like, I've never made this beer, but it wasn't like it was gonna not turn out at least to be drinkable.
Yeah, it's like a malty pale ale. I would say on the fruitier side. It's not super citrusy. It's not piney. It's almost kind of, now that I say that out loud, it's almost a little Englishy, right? It's a little like pub ale.
Maybe.
With a little more oomph to it.
I mean, it got down to 1.007, but it does still have like a little bit of body to it.
Yeah, I'm sure that's kind of the wheat. Maybe it's just some of these characters. Hey, yo. Leave the tripod alone, bud.
He's okay.
Yeah, it's got a little body to it, which is, you said 1014?
No, 1.007.
Yeah,
so
it
kind
does
of low.
It's got a, so that might be where that wheat is. You were just talking about how like you used to taste wheat more in your beers. That now maybe in this case it might be more of a body expression.
Yeah, I feel like you guys can comment. I was hoping to get a wheat flavor out of this beer, and that's why I used basically 50% wheat, but I don't know if I would have known if somebody just gave me this beer.
Yeah.
I would have believed that it could have just been all barley, and I wouldn't have been shocked to hear that. So, I think as it warms, a little bit more of, like I said, the oranginess. Maybe, I don't know, the citrusy, whatever, the tangerine, maybe that is kind of in there, but like all these other nuanced certain descriptors, I think I would need more of the hop. I probably would have needed like 2 or 3 ounces in there to really get more of an idea of it.
An Imperial Juice, now that I think about it, must be British heritage, because I'm sure it's the same strain, like London 5 or whatever it is that people use. So
maybe.
That could, again, kind of just bring me back. If these hops are melony and fruity, stone fruitish, which is, this is very English paley, now that I...
Huh.
But...
I turned into a contest. Bitter.
An ESB.
45 points. Yeah, right. That's funny.
Man, it's always fun to win a contest with something you didn't intentionally brew.
That's a side note, but I remember somebody saying entered the beer into the category that it should go into, not necessarily what you were trying to make.
Yeah.
If it didn't turn out that way, but that's a side note. Another side note is we're inside the porch because it's windy out. Otherwise, we would have been out back by the big plants. But
It's extremely windy. Look at this. Like all the fall leaves, the first round of leaves are already starting to blow.
they said it was going to be windy. Anyway, I think that's plenty of blabbering.
Say
on
bye,
about this.
Jonas. Can you say bye?
Bye, Jonas. My little buddy.
Bye, Don.
All right, catch you later.